back in the kitchen. I was thinking about another life skill that I could video for you guys, and I really enjoyed doing this spaghetti one, and I felt like it was very practical. So I'm back in the kitchen, and this time I'm going to show you how to make scrambled eggs. I just put Hazel down for her morning nap about 30 minutes ago, and I was kind of hungry, so I was like, I'll just make some eggs and I'll video it. So we're going to make some scrambled eggs here, and what I have, let me show you my supplies. None of my stove is on or anything like that, so everything's off. I have a small, just little frying pan. I have some butter that's going to go in my frying pan. Not this much butter. I'm just going to use a little bit of it. I have a spatula that I'm going to use while I'm cooking my eggs. I have a whisk or a fork. It doesn't matter which one you're going to use to beat the eggs. The knife is for my butter, so I'm going to put it over there with my butter. And then I only want 2 eggs, so I just grabbed 2 eggs out of the refrigerator. And then some milk. I like to mix milk with my scrambled eggs. You can use water, or you don't have to use anything at all. So this is optional. I use about 1 tablespoon per egg. So this is about 2 tablespoons of milk. And then I have some salt and pepper for seasoning. So salt and pepper for seasoning my eggs. So we're going to jump in and we're going to get started. I am going to move this so I can move my this station a little bit closer to you, and then we'll turn this on and work with this in a second. So I'm going to put that. So what I do might be a little different than what you've seen before, but I crack my eggs into a smaller little dish because I'm kind of clumsy when it comes to cracking eggs, so I want to make sure that there's no shells in there when I am cooking my eggs, because you don't want shells in your scrambled eggs because that's not yummy. So I'm going to take my eggs here, and I'm just going to give it 1 nice hit on the side of the bowl, maybe 2, and you can see it makes a little crack. I'm going to spread it apart gently and let my egg fall into the bowl. Oh, there's a perfect example. As you can see, there, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a shell in there. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to try to get it out. A trick is, if it doesn't come out right away, see, there it was, you can wet your finger and it makes the shell come out a lot easier. Alright, that looks pretty clear. So I'm going to put that into my bigger bowl where I'll do my whisking. But that way I was able to get the shell out no problem without it getting into my eggs. I'm going to do my next egg. Gonna check it. No shells in there, so I can put it in my other bowl. Alright, the next thing I'm gonna do is, now I have my eggs in my bigger bowl. Move that to the side. I'm gonna use a whisk and a fork because I'm gonna show you both, but I'm gonna make sure to add my milk in to my eggs. I think it makes it a little fluffier. Other people like water, some people like nothing. It's totally up to you. So you can use a fork, plain old fork, and you can just start stirring in your eggs like that, and it will break up the yolk a little bit. But you can also use a whisk if you have one of these, or you want to be a little fancy, and it'll do the same exact thing. And you can just whisk it on up. Alright, see? Nice and whisked. Whisk it a couple more times. And then we are going to be ready to scramble our eggs. Make sure all the eggs off my whisk here. And I'm going to set that to the side. And I'm going to clean up my station. Now we're ready to get started with our cooking. So I'm going to bring my pan back to my eye. Remember, my eye is off. I'm going to set my pan down. I'll back you guys up a little bit so you can see. There we go. So my eye is off, like I said, and I'm going to add a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit of butter, probably half a tablespoon of butter. That's just going to help my eggs to not stick to the pan. That you probably don't even need that much butter. So I'm going to stick that in there, and you don't need any more butter after that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my stove on medium heat. So medium is just right in the middle between low and high. And I'm going to let that butter melt before I put my eggs in. I'm going to just let that butter melt. My eggs are just hanging out waiting. You can take your spatula and you can move your butter around a little bit, because once it starts to heat up, it'll start moving around a lot easier. Probably didn't really even need that much butter, but little butter never hurt anybody, right? Butter's yummy. So we're going to let that butter melt. Okay, our butter is melted. Now I can just pour my eggs in. So you're just going to take your bowl of scrambled eggs, and you're just going to pour them in your pan gently. Alright, then you can set that to the side. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to wait to watch the edge of the pan. And you're going to see that it'll start to cook, and you'll be able to start to move it around in a second. I think you can see better now. I turned off my overhead light. Hopefully you can see better. So it's just a waiting game. You're just waiting for the edge to cook first, and then you'll start moving it around. So I'm going to check and see if it's cooking. No eggs have gathered in the middle yet, so it's not cooking yet. I might turn up my heat just a little bit past medium, not too far. Just so it starts to cook a little quicker. You definitely want to keep your eye on eggs though, because once they start cooking, they cook really fast. And you definitely want to be careful around a hot stove. You could see that my eye was red, which is like really hot. Definitely get parent permission before cooking anything on the stove. Alright, I'm going to pull back and see. Oh, it's starting to cook a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but the little bit of egg is forming in the middle. A little bit of scrambled egg, I'm sorry, is forming in the middle. So I'm going to start dragging from the edges to the middle. And the reason you're doing that is you're moving the cooked part of the egg to the center. So then the uncooked egg can run out of to the side, and then it'll cook. So you're just going to keep moving your eggs around while they're cooking up. So you can see that it's starting to form some scrambled eggs in there. I'm just going to keep moving it around. I keep moving it because I don't want the egg to stick to my pan, which is it easily does. And you can see it's starting to become less liquid and more scrambled eggs. Yummy, yummy. It's starting to cook pretty fast now, so I can probably turn down my stove back to medium. And I want to make sure to flip the eggs as best I can so they cook evenly. Some people like their eggs, you know, done a little bit more where they're almost brown a little bit. My husband likes his eggs a little bit more. I like mine kind of in the middle, not like this where it's still shiny and a little bit runny, but not where they're really brown either. So just your personal preference, and then you can start breaking up the egg a little bit to make scrambled eggs. Let that cook for about 30 more seconds to a minute while I keep just moving it around. While I'm letting that cook a little bit further, I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. So I'm going to take my salt and I'm just going to put a little salt on there. And then I'm going to put a little pepper on there. Again, that's totally optional. Some people don't like salt and pepper on theirs. And then I'm going to give that a good little mix. Alright, that looks pretty good, how I like my eggs. So I'm going to turn my stove off. Give it one more good stir. And you can see we have scrambled eggs here. I'm going to pull my plate over here. And I'm going to just put it on my plate. And there it is. And there's my scrambled eggs. So, obviously with scrambled eggs, you can eat bacon or you can turn it into a sandwich. Something silly that Ms.Lethgo likes is a scrambled egg sandwich with peanut butter on it. It's something my dad always ate, and I ate it when I was little, and I love it. So you make basically a peanut butter sandwich, and you put this on it. A lot of people think that's gross and don't like it, but I like it. So if I was doing that, I could make that. I could add bacon on the side. I could have biscuits. I could just eat these by themselves like I'm going to do this morning. But options are endless with scrambled eggs, and it was super fast, super easy. It's probably like, what, 10 minutes, and I have breakfast. So this is something quick and easy that you can do at home with parent permission, and it's yummy. So let me know if you have a certain egg recipe that you like, or how you like your scrambled eggs, or if you don't even like scrambled eggs. Some people like fried eggs. There's lots of different ways that you can eat eggs. So reach out, let me know. I hope that you have fun trying out your egg recipes and have fun cooking. Bye!